Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of The Sauce. Continuing with NFL Week 2. Got a good matchup here. Chiefs, Jags, and Jacksonville. Lines Jacksonville plus 3.5. Total sitting at 51. Let's go.
Welcome to The Sauce. The Sauce. Sauce. Hey, get the sauce.
So as you would expect, everyone's on Kansas City here. Public's on KC. Sharp seem to be on KC also. Line's been bouncing around. I mean, I saw it as high as 4. I saw it as low as 3. Seems to be at 3.5 on most sports books right now, but I do still see a couple 3s hanging around out there. So obviously, I'm sure you've heard, Chiefs took a loss on the opener on Thursday night to Detroit. I'm sure there's people out there chirping, saying the Chiefs' run is over. Let's just relax for a second. I know Patrick Mahomes didn't have the best game statistically, just 226 yards passing, 2 touchdowns and a pick, 54% completions. That's not what we're used to seeing from Mahomes. This is against a mediocre Lions pass defense. But if you watch the game, you know there were 8 dropped passes. 8. If even 4 of those 8 drops get caught, his completion percentage jumps up to a 64.1. And there's multiple factors contributing to this. Obviously, Travis Kelce being out is huge part of that offense. Kadarius Toney had a terrible game, as I'm sure you've heard. Keep in mind, Kadarius Toney's a guy who missed all of camp recovering from a knee injury himself. So there's just give it some time here. To me, the most important thing that we saw from the Chiefs offense is that the wide receivers were getting open. Shows you that Matt Nagy's doing a decent job calling the plays. Execution was obviously off, but it'll come. With Travis Kelce back on the field and Chiefs getting a few extra days off here, there's no doubt in my mind that the Chiefs passing offense comes back in a huge way in week 2. And part of the reason I think that is because the Jags pass defense just isn't good. Last year, they were ranked 30th in pass defense DVOA, 27th in passing yards allowed per game. This pass defense was exploitable as hell. And what's concerning in this matchup specifically is their defense against short passes. Check this out. Jags pass defense was 13th in DVOA against deep passes last year in 2022, but 31st against short passes. And if you notice, the Chiefs passing offense went underneath a lot more than what we were used to seeing from this offense. Patrick Mahomes' average depth of target in his first 3 years as a starter was over 9 yards. Tyreek Hill leaves, and then last year was just 7.7 yards. Sure, we saw Jacksonville's pass defense look great last week. It was against a rookie quarterback, a rookie head coach, and they're trying to run a more vertical offense there in Indianapolis. Against two-time MVP Mahomes, who's looking to just pick you apart, it's going to be a serious challenge. And what's weird about this Jags pass rush is they just don't seem to finish plays. Check these numbers out. So last year, they were 6th in pressure rate, 3rd in quarterback hit rate. So they're getting to the quarterback, but just 29th in adjusted sack rate. So they're getting there. They're just not getting the quarterback to the ground. And we know how elusive a healthy Patrick Mahomes can be. And the Chiefs offensive line looked excellent in week 1 with the new pieces. Chiefs were great in pass protection last year, but as you know, they lost both offensive tackles. They added Donovan Smith at left tackle, Jawan Taylor at right tackle, and they look good. Lions had just 1 sack and 11.1 pressure rate in that game, which was 4th lowest in the NFL. The strength of the Jags defense was stopping the run last year. They were 11th in DVOA, 7th in yards per carry allowed, 5th in adjusted line yards. They completely shut the Colts run game down in week 1, held them to just 65 yards rushing on 2.5 yards per carry in that game, which is great and all, but you're playing the Chiefs. If there's one team in the NFL that can go out and win on the road without the run game working, it's Mahomes and the Chiefs. I mean, they pass a lot. 62% pass frequency last season. That was 8th in the NFL. 63% in week 1. That was also 8th. And the intangible numbers on this side of the ball, just such a huge edge for the Chiefs. I mean, look at the comparison in third down numbers and red zone numbers from last year. We're talking about one of the best in the NFL in the Chiefs offense to one of the worst in the NFL in Jacksonville's defense. Now, on the other side, we got the Jags offense, and man, they just flipped the switch last season. They started off the year looking regular as hell, just 3-7 through their first 10 games, and then they just started clicking. They went 6-1 in their final 7 games, then came from behind, obviously, as you remember, to beat the Chargers in the playoff game. But the Jags offense wasn't the only unit that just flipped the switch mid-season last year. Chiefs defense was off to a historically bad start. Through 8 weeks, the Chiefs defense was 24th in pass defense DVOA. Second half of the season, we saw that production jump, mostly on the backs of their pass rush. Chiefs defense was really solid down the stretch. But come on, this is Trevor Lawrence and the Jags. They're loaded with weapons. This offense should have no problem moving the ball, right? Well, hold on, because there's some issues on the offensive line here. Jags' offensive line was great in pass protection last year, but they lost their best offensive lineman from last season, their right tackle, Jawan Taylor. Oddly enough, he's actually on the Chiefs now. So they've got a rookie starting at right tackle, and their left tackle, Cam Robinson, he's suspended for 4 games for PEDs. So the Jags offensive line are missing both their tackles from last season. And obviously, whenever you're playing the Chiefs, the pass protection is just huge, especially now because Chris Jones is back. I pulled this graphic up last week, but I'll bring it up again because it's truly insane. In the last 5 years, the Chiefs with Chris Jones on the field have the #1 pass rush in the NFL. In the last 5 years, when Chris Jones is not on the field, they're 28th in the NFL. This guy transforms the entire defense. The reason this is so crucial in this matchup, look at Trevor Lawrence's splits under pressure here. In a clean pocket, Trevor Lawrence is the man, but under pressure, he was not great at all last season. Chiefs defense might really give Trevor Lawrence problems in this game. On paper, it would seem that Jacksonville's best path to victory is establishing the run, but in the 2 games they played him last year, Jags played the Chiefs twice last year, Travis Etienne had just 21 carries combined in both games. So that's not what we saw from the Jags in these 2 games last year. Overall, I think it's crazy that you can still get this number at 3. I mean, I just bet it. I got in at Chiefs -3 right before I started recording. I'd still take it at 3.5, but we'll see where the line's at Sunday morning for the live show, and we'll make our final decisions. If you want my top bets, parlay of the day, if you want to get in on the NFL against the spread competition, giveaway this week is a signed Drake London mini USC helmet. If you're interested in any of that, head over to KyleKirms.com. NFL Week 2, we had a green Week 1. Let's keep that rolling. Remember to bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you in the Discord.